Welcome back. We're considering this line chart here. And last time we learned how to control the appearance of the data lines. But these aren't the only lines on the chart. And so in keeping with the theme of this particular module, let's think about the other lines that exist and how to control them. In this video, we're going to be thinking about axes. So there are lines associated with the axes, and we want to understand how we may control these lines or not. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. It turns out that the API for just the axis lines is a little hard to find. You can hunt for it if you want, but probably in this case, it's going to be easier to go to Chat with AI and ask it some questions. So I'm just going to enter a question here, start a new chat, and say, I have a Plotly plot, and I want to control the appearance of the x-axis. What are my options? And so it'll give me a little discussion of this. I know what they are, so while it's adding, going along, okay, here we go. Title, tick format, tick step, color and size, show hide ticks, grid lines, range. Okay, so we can control the range. We just learned that here. Overlaying categories, and you're saying, well, that's not really what I want. I am thinking about the axis line specifically. And so we'll see if it gives us better information on this. So the very first thing is whether there's a line or not. So let's say show line equals false. Now there's no line on the x-axis. So we can see that the default was to have show line equals true. Let's go back and see if we have a better answer here. Show axis line, that's the one we just had. Axis line color. So it says we can use line color equals something. The default is black, but what if I wanted line color equals blue? I actually have to show the line if I'm going to see the line color. So there we go. Now I have a blue line. You can see that I have line width equals 2. Is what it's suggesting. If I run that, I get a slightly thicker line. That's because the default is 1. And we can make this like ridiculously big if we wanted to. And now we've learned how to control some of the axes lines. Something that we might want to do though is really not have a line. Like maybe it seemed weird to not have a line, but I actually think that not having a line in this particular case is a kind of a good idea, because the line at the bottom, which is sort of at like, let's call it minus 12 or so, is not really meaningful. I mean, it's just there to help us see the bounds of the plot, but it's not really part of the story that I'm interested in. The story I'm interested in is how have things changed relative to 2002. So what I'd really like is to have a line at 0 here on the y-axis. And so under the y-axis, we have all the same control over the lines that we would like to have, and we could change those. But for both of these axes, we also have this idea. So show 0 line, that means just draw a line at 0. It usually starts at false, but we can set it to true. Sorry, the keyword, as we just saw here, is 0 line, not show 0 line. So 0 line. And now we've created an axis line at 0 immediately without needing to do anything else. And I think to me, this tells a more compelling story, right? It emphasizes the idea that this line at 0 is somehow special, and that's where things used to cost back in 2000. Okay, so I think at this point, this is everything I wanted to say about controlling axes lines. We know that we can control their color and their width. That's going to be useful for us. We know we can show them or not. And then we also know that we can put lines at 0 if we want to directly. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.